Hi, everybody, and welcome back at Azure Lowlands in the Netherlands. We are very happy today to be again with another panel. And of course, here sitting next to me is my lovely co-hostess, Floor Drees.
It's been so much fun so far. I'm looking forward to the rest of the day.
Having fun so far. And of course, we have great people sitting with us here today. So I would quickly like to introduce first Katerina Elisabeth. Please say hello and shortly introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Katerina Elisabeth. I'm from Ukraine. And,
love the colors of your outfit. Yeah. And then we have Hannes Lowet also sitting with us.
I'm Hannes. I work for a company called Access in Belgium, and I've been involved with last year or so.
Wonderful to have you here. And Sherry, also please say hello.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. I'm working at Microsoft as a program manager, and I'm also the chairperson of the Hack Your Future Denmark. Happy to be here.
Well, happy to have you. Of course, a warm welcome on behalf of everybody at Azure Lowlands and whoever is watching, listening to us today. So today we're going to cover Hack Your Future. We would love to know first, for the ones who don't know, what is it all about?
I think that's a question for you, Sherry.
Yeah. So Hack Your Future is a coding school for people from disadvantaged background that they normally don't have access to either free kind of free education in the country that they live in. And they can go through a 7 months intensive course and learn everything that they need to learn in order to join the job market, normally as either full stack developer or a front-end developer. And the program exists as for today in Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands, Canada, and also in UK.
It started here in the Netherlands, didn't it? Yes.
It started in the Netherlands, and now it exists in all of this country. And it's all volunteer-based.
Yeah.
So we have normally in-person classes. I guess Katrina can talk about it.
Oh, yes.
That on Sundays, and there are developers that they are volunteers. They go there and then they spend their time to teach.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of countries. Do you also have plans? I assume you're all the time expanding and growing to reach more countries in the world?
It's normally when people hear about the program and they see that that program doesn't exist in their country, they get passionate and then they start it. I know,
That's wonderful.
For example, I know, for example, one of my friends in Colombia also started to doing that as well. And he's actually originally Dutch. So
okay.
He from here, and then he also tried to make it in Colombia.
I'm sure towards the end we can discuss how people can get more involved and start the program and of course help you grow further.
As coaches or anything,
It also really helps that the entire course curriculum is open source. So anyone can take this curriculum and run a class without needing permission from Hack Your Future. So they can start up a new chapter anywhere in the world if they want to.
Yeah. And you mentioned Katerina could elaborate more on the classes on the Sundays. Can you tell us a bit more how a day like that looks like?
Yes, I'm a little bit insider. Oh, sorry. In the class, how it looks like. The classes are usually students meet up on Sundays. Volunteers really can
make time
to dedicate to teach students. And it's not just Sunday because we meet on Sunday, but studies go for the whole week till next Sunday, and they give you homework and they guide you, they teach you new things, and they say, okay, this is what you have to do. And by the end of the week, you coming back with the homework.
Yeah.
So it goes on.
And then speaking of the students, what's the type or what kind of students are you mainly aiming for to attract?
Students mainly to attract, I think, those who are coming from abroad, those who are immigrants or refugees, or people who just come abroad and looking for a chance to get a new start in the career path.
All right. So maybe Sherry, you can tell me how's the experience from a student's perspective? If the students come to the class or joins the Hack Your Future, what are their experiences?
So what we normally do is that we have like a demo days. Demo days is the day that we attract new students, that they can come there and then, for example, have a snippet of that what is going to be there to be at the Hack Your Future. And if they get excited about that, they can go through an assessment. And then that assessment is, I mean, it's not like a university entrance exam. You just normally get like an instruction of how to create, for example, a normal HTML page. You have to follow the instruction and then apply what is actually written there. And the reason behind it is that because the whole class is normally very intensive, so we need to make sure that the people that they come there, they can actually follow the instructions, be like a self-learner. Because otherwise it's going to be tough. So then they can go to the other schools. For example, in Denmark, we have a collaboration with the other classes. Yes. So with the other classes, and if they cannot go through the Hack Your Future, for example, we can forward them to go, for example, to Ready School. So Ready School is, they do the same thing, but from different perspective.
Yeah.
What's also extremely cool is that they try to keep the bar of entry as low as possible. So you don't need to be, you don't need to have official paperwork in the country where you are. All you need is, you need to speak English and you need to have abstract reasoning skills, and that's it. That is the bar of entry, and they are confident that they can teach any of those people that meet those criteria, teach them the basics of front-end software development.
What is the stack that you're teaching? I mean, you mentioned it is open source, so.
It is open source.
Yeah.
I think maybe Katarina can answer this one the best.
Yes.
She went through it all.
The stack.
It all. Yeah.
Yes, I did it all from the beginning to the end. The stack is full stack development. It's including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, database, and nodes, and
we're getting some instructions.
Yes.
Guidelines.
We have a little technical detail.
So actually, when you graduate from Hack Your Future, you are have set of full stack development.
Yeah.
To start.
Yeah.
Very cool. I believe that some of the instructors are also like people who were previously students. I can imagine that it must be really gratifying to, after you've finished your studies, that you can then also teach someone else, so you sort of pass it forward.
Yes, I know somebody that was in my class, and now she is a teacher in Antwerp, in Belgium.
I love that. I also feel like if you're only like a couple of steps. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, our mics are all not working. And I can just imagine, like, if you're teaching something, right, and you're just a couple of steps ahead of someone, like you've just went through it, it's so much easier to connect to students and just explain it in a way that they will understand it, mapping it to, you know, like something they already know or are familiar with. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of the hardest things that we struggled with when we started teaching, because it's so easy to forget what it was like to start from the beginning. You take a lot of things for granted, and you have to like think, okay, they don't have the frame of reference yet, so we need to work on building that before we can go into the deeper subjects. And that has been eye-opening for all the people that have been coaching in the Antwerp class from our company. So yeah, that was the biggest switch for all of us to get into it.
Following up on that, because they're then teaching on a Sunday, so when do you compensate for that time?
Well, I came in contact with Hack Your Future at a conference in Denmark, and I was so inspired by the story, and I felt that I really wanted to contribute. And then Christopher told me that they also had a chapter in Belgium, so I reached out. And I convinced my boss, like, this is something that we have to really contribute to, because all of the values are amazing. They're getting the people into their classes that usually fall through the cracks of the system. So they're giving these people a new future, which is fantastic. They also focus on diversity a lot, which is a big problem in our industry, and it's very nice that they're also fixing that. So I was so inspired, I want to do it. But the problem is on a Sunday, our people are not working. So the deal that we have now is if people go and coach on a Sunday, that counts as work time, and they can take that time back on another day. And that made more than 10 of my colleagues sign up to go and teach at Hack Your Future Antwerp. And our first class graduated just this weekend. So we delivered the first, yeah.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we also before, so what are some of the challenges that you're really facing in the organization?
So the fact is that all of these chapters, they created in different ways. So they all have their own kind of challenges. So I cannot speak, for example, from Belgium or Netherlands or so on. But in Denmark, actually sponsors are one of the biggest chapters because this is non-profit organization. And then we have actually some people that they are working there, so they need to have wage. So all of these comes from donations. And for some time we had some grants, and those grants, they are for limited time. So when they go over, you have to constantly find new funds, new grants, new sponsors. So that's one of the biggest challenges we have in Denmark. As for the volunteers, actually we are lucky. We have many volunteers that they come. They have a lot of passionate people that they come. And as you mentioned, that students, when they feel like that they've been through all of these programs and then now they got a full-time job, they love to contribute back. So they come back and then they become the new generation of volunteers. For that one, we are super lucky. And of course, the other part is that we need the sponsors from the companies to kind of to give chance to the graduates. So that's also one of the challenges that we constantly try to expand our network and try to find companies that are willing to give chance, because to be honest, that exists everywhere. That the very first job that you want to get is normally difficult. So it doesn't matter if you graduated from Hack Your Future from university as a junior, it's normally difficult. So yeah.
Now, Ed would just love to hear about your story. What are you looking forward to? What's happening? How did you even find out about Hack Your Future? Everything. Tell us everything.
Well, if I start telling everything, it's really long story, and the time will be.
Doesn't matter. They'll cut us off.
So fast. Anyway, when I came to Belgium, I did face like a difficulty to it's kind of to integrate myself and to find a job, and then I in one of the groups where I follow, somebody mentioned about Hack Your Future, and especially it was that they are looking for girls, for women to fill in, and I said, oh, this was my chance, because the story goes way behind from my childhood. When I was in school, I was curious in computers, but my teacher before said, yeah, it's not for girls, it's only boys, so get something else. And for that I have my career in architect. Yeah. But it doesn't evaluate so well in other countries other than Ukraine. And so I started with Hack Your Future. The moment that I lay my hands and I make the HTML page with a little bit of CSS, and I could manipulate it a little bit, I said, wow, this is mine. And that's it. Yeah, it was not always so easy to do such studies, because if you have zero knowledge, zero preparation, and it's enormously a lot of things that you have to learn, from how to structure the HTML, how it works, how to add the CSS, how to add the JavaScript, and it's endless, still learning. But
we all are, so it's fine. Like, it's a never-ending journey.
Yes, indeed. And so sometimes it was like when I started, I said to my husband, yes, it's only 4 hours a day. I can do it. Huh? But honestly, it was never 4 hours a day. It was sometimes up to 12 hours a day. And it was not so easy sometimes to combine these things together. But after all, I did it, and I'm very happy that
That you did.
that I did, yes. Because at some point it gets so hard that you say, oh, do I want to continue? And I know people who said, it's not easy. But okay, after graduation, it was also a challenge to find a first job. And this was, I guess, the biggest challenge because it took longer than the course itself. But I did had my first job also,
So Hack Your Future was a perfect stepping stone.
Yes, indeed. This is indeed a first stepping stone for people who wants to change a career, change life. It's really something big.
And
Also, if you're looking to hire a React developer, she is looking for a new job at the moment. So hire Katie or hire any other Hack Your Future graduates.
So, as Sherry mentioned, well, there's an alarm going off. I hope we're all safe in case we start running. But so you mentioned one of the biggest challenges of the organization is getting sponsors, get the funding. Of course, people need to get paid. You need also your materials. You need hardware. Of course, there's a lot you need. But you also need the volunteers. Right, so it's really a cycle of needs you have. So for anybody who is now watching on Microsoft Learn TV and they are inspired by Catherine's story, by your passion, the motivation you have for Hack Your Future, how can they, so as a sponsor, contribute or as a volunteer join the program?
So I would say that, first of all, you can go to hackyourfuture.com.dk.be. Go and see there's all the information there, how you can get involved, how you can actually contribute. But one of the thing is that whenever that you work at a company, I mean, I really want you to go and just see how, if you're in a country that Hack Your Future exists, or actually any other coding similar project, because I'm pretty sure they exist everywhere. Just try to go and see one day that how everything works, and then how passionate are people that they are learning there, because these people, they chose to go on this path. So they are the most passionate and dedicated actually employee that you can have, because they are full of energy and they want to apply what they learn. So I would say that that's going to be the perfect match for you. So just go and see, and when you see that how all of these people working together under a non-profit organization, you feel like that you want to actually sponsor them. I'm pretty sure that happened. That's what happened to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also because all these organizations, they operate on pretty tiny budgets because it's often very hard to find government funding for people who are not officially in the country yet. So it's not just funds, but donating old laptops can be very useful. So they can give a laptop to every attendee and let them keep it afterwards. Donating old screens, making time to go and coach. During the week, reviewing pull requests for the students, like mentoring. You don't have to go teach on Sundays. You can also contribute during the week. Whatever. I mean, there's so many ways that you can be a part of this family. And I can tell you in advance, it's going to be so rewarding because you're actually changing these people's lives. Right. And that is the best way of giving back to something like this.
All right. Well, then we are unfortunately at the end of our session. We also know Sherry actually goes to the big stage down. Needs to run. So I would like to thank you on behalf of Floor and myself, of course, for being with us today. Catherine, we loved also hearing your inspirational story. I hope many people who are watching or listening today that they also get inspired and involved. Definitely go to hackyourfuture.com and get involved, whether if it's donating a laptop, becoming a volunteer, a sponsor. There are many ways that you can contribute. So thanks again, and we wish you a lovely day.